I want to get your reaction to what it means to Vladimir Putin when President Biden talks to him about the poisoning of Alexei Navalny. The White House notes on the phone call said that President Biden talked to Vladimir Putin about the poisoning of Alexei Navalny. What effect does that have on Vladimir Putin and in Russia?
Well, thank you for having me. And from the point of the protesters, I must say that it's really important for the international leaders to be involved in what's happening currently in Russia. It really helps us because we are fighting for democracy, and international involvement helps us. Putin is deeply scared of the international pressure. He might try to put stone face on himself and might try to appear as a person who does not care. But in fact, he deeply cares about what other leaders think of him. So if it's Joe Biden or Angela Merkel, it's really effective when international leaders put pressure on him about political prisoners in Russia.
You told me yesterday that it's been a very emotional time for you this week, especially one of your partners, Masha, was arrested and detained. I think she's still detained. We have some video, this video of her being arrested right there. Do you know what her situation is now?
It's deeply emotional to me because Masha is arrested seriously for the first time since 2012. In 2012, we were arrested and put in isolator, at the same isolator where Masha is detained currently. And it's not one of the normal arrests that's happening with us every day in Russia. It's a serious arrest right now. It's a serious arrest with criminal charges, and she is facing 2 years in jail, which is ultimately my deepest nightmare. And I still, up to this day, years after my release from prison, I have these nightmares of me coming back to jail. And this is a nightmare where Masha lives right now. We don't know what's going to happen later. In a day, we will hear more news, but it is likely, unfortunately, that Masha will end up in jail again.
You told me the first time we talked that one of the reasons why you didn't have to serve your full prison sentence, you did more than a year in a very difficult Russian prison, which is a forced labor prison, by the way. I mean, that's something we could talk about at length, is what you have to go through when you're in one of these prisons. But the reason you got out was because of pressure put on Russia and put on Putin directly by foreign leaders.
It incredibly helps. I cannot stress it enough. Right before our release, there was Olympic Games coming. So the reason why Putin had to release us because he didn't want to have that picture in the international media. So the more reaction you have in European American media, the more chances that Alexei Navalny and everyone else who was arrested in the last 10 days, they will be released.
I know you're very friendly with Alexei Navalny and his wife, who was her home was also raided by the Russian police. You visited him, I know, when he was in the hospital. Talk about the bravery it takes for him and for you to repeatedly confront Vladimir Putin, knowing that prison is the very likely outcome of confronting him.
On the 17th of January, when Navalny sat on this airplane and went from Berlin to Russia, he committed a radical act of political bravery. It was one of the most important political actions lately because he is showing us that all it takes to be effective in opposing the corrupt government is just refuse to fear. And he and his team, because it's not just Navalny, it's the whole constellation of amazing, talented people who are standing behind his back, and the whole Russia who doesn't want to take this corruption anymore. It just takes a little thing. You need to control your fear, and then later the government will not be able to do anything with you.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.